Two types of shims are shipped with every Duraflex short stand: nylon and phenolic. White nylon shims are used to correct for uneven surfaces. The brown phenolic shims isolate the stand from the deck surface, reducing the possibility of corrosion. Sorting and marking the nylon shims by thickness prior to starting will make it easier to select the proper size shim during the leveling process. Place a phenolic shim directly over each of the 6 mounting holes. Place a long level across the shims in all directions to determine the highest anchor location. Using this highest point as a reference, place nylon shims on top of the other phenolic shims as needed to bring them into level. Next, reduce the number of nylon shims where possible by replacing multiple thin shims with single thicker ones. For instance, replace 2 1/8-inch nylon shims with 1 1/4-inch nylon shim. Do not remove any phenolic shims. Place the fulcrum box into position on the shims with the foot wheel on the right when facing the pool. Be careful not to disturb the shims. Check for level front to back and side to side using the tracks as your reference. Adjust shims as required until the stand is level. Make sure there is at least 1 phenolic shim at each anchor mounting location so the fulcrum box is not in direct contact with the deck surface. Apply a thin film of anti-seize to the threads of all mounting bolts. This step is important to prevent the bolts from seizing. Install the mounting bolts with 2 washers. There are 2 sizes of washers included. The larger washer goes on the bottom. The bolts must be sufficient length to allow a minimum of 1/2 inch of thread engagement into the anchor. Finger tighten the mounting bolts. Recheck for level and adjust shims if necessary. The fulcrum box and short stand anchor must be aligned over the center line to achieve proper alignment of the diving board. A laser level is preferred for the following procedure. If no laser level is available, a plumb bob and chalk line may also be used. Use the centerline labels on the front and back of the fulcrum box and the label on the top of the short stand anchor to establish alignment with the center line on the platform. Position the laser so the horizontal beam lines up with the center line. It is best to mount the laser level to a tripod positioned behind the short stand anchor. Center the short stand anchor and the fulcrum box by aligning each center line marked on the labels with the beam. Tighten the mounting bolts. Torque all mounting bolts to 110 foot-pounds. Verify that the fulcrum box and the short stand anchor remain level. If you have any doubt as to your ability to install this equipment, visit the Duraflex website for a qualified professional installer.